Fellas, today I am here to dispel the myth that Khamzat Chimaev has bad cardio. You hear it all the time, especially when there's talk about this upcoming fight with Robert Whittaker, that Khamzat Chimaev has no gas tank, he has no cardio, and when it comes to rounds 3, 4, 5 against Whittaker, he's done for. But I just disagree completely with that notion. So when people bring up the point that Khamzat Chimaev has bad cardio, I ask them to bring up the evidence. Which fight has he showed to have bad cardio in? And oftentimes they'll bring up the Kamaru Usman fight or the Gilbert Burns fight. And to that, I just say, did you even watch the fight? Because according to the judges, who, yes, they do know more about the scoring criteria than you do, Khamzat Chimaev won round 3 on all 3 scorecards against Gilbert Burns and won round 3 on 1 scorecard against Kamaru Usman. So if you're going to come out here and tell me that Khamzat Chimaev has bad cardio, are you also going to say that Gilbert Burns has bad cardio, or even that Kamaru Usman has bad cardio, who has some of the best cardio of all time? And there are really no other fights in his UFC career that you could bring up, because every single other one has been a first or second round finish. Sure, I'm not going to be oblivious here and say that Khamzat Chimaev looked as good and as fresh in round 3 as he did in round 1, but that is how he fights. He comes out with a pace that is higher than maybe any other fighter I have ever seen, so he's bound to gas out a little bit. But in a 5-round fight, you have to expect his game plan to change. Every single fight he has ever been a part of has been scheduled for 3 rounds in the UFC, so he knew he could go all out early and just leave enough in the tank to finish out round 3. If he knows he has to go 5 rounds, he'll employ a different game plan. Another illogical argument that a lot of people use is, look how tired he was in round 3. Imagine Usman or Burns had another 2 rounds. Khamzat Chimaev knew the fight was only 3 rounds, so he exhausted every piece of energy he had. And I know what people are going to say. They're going to come at me and say Kamaru Usman was coming in on a week's notice and he was washed. But Kamaru Usman is one of probably the 10 greatest fighters of all time. Just removed from losing his title to Leon Edwards, he was not washed and he looked in good shape as well. So sure, maybe it wasn't the best level of Kamaru Usman we have seen, but that Kamaru Usman was still easily a top 20 fighter in the world. Now, when it comes to Robert Whittaker, there is a very good chance that he has better cardio than Khamzat Chimaev. He has shown he can go 5 rounds and win 4th and 5th rounds multiple times. But I think it might not even matter. I think that Khamzat Chimaev is going to finish Robert Whittaker within the first 3 rounds, and I'm pretty confident about that result happening. I think overall, tactically, Whittaker is a little better on the feet, but it's not by much, and Khamzat Chimaev can catch Whittaker. Whittaker has been very chinny throughout his career, and we all know Khamzat Chimaev has very heavy hands. And when it comes to the grappling, a lot of people are going to hype up Robert Whittaker's defensive wrestling, but it will not be enough. Khamzat Chimaev is the best grappler in the UFC. At worst, he is top 5. He is going to take down Robert Whittaker, and Robert Whittaker gives up his back easily, and he's going to submit him or ground and pound him to a finish. This fight is a classic situation that actually happens a lot in the MMA world, where the casuals are going to pick Chimaev. They're going to be like, oh, he finishes everyone. He'll submit him easy, no problem. He's going to smash him. And then the pretend hardcores are all going to pick Robert Whittaker because they think they're smarter than everyone else. They think Robert Whittaker's takedown defense is going to be better, and they just like to hate on hype trains for no reason. But then the people who really analyze the fight are going to pick Khamzat Chimaev because they know he is the better fighter. Robert Whittaker had his time. He was a champion. He had a great career. But a guy like Khamzat Chimaev is a generational talent, and he will not go throughout his entire career without winning a championship belt. There are certain guys who, when they are rising the ranks, you cannot let your eyes deceive you. Guys like Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, Alex Pereira, and now Khamzat Chimaev, you watch them and you just know they are destined to become a champion. And sure, it has taken a lot longer than it probably should have for Khamzat Chimaev for a combination of reasons, mostly because of Khamzat Chimaev pulling out. Sometimes his fault, sometimes it's not. Regardless, it's been a sad situation for his career. But I am not hopping off the hype train. I think this guy is going to be a champion, and I am very, very confident about it. If I could choose one guy who's not challenging for a title fight right now to eventually become a champion, I'm putting my money on Khamzat Chimaev. So I know the hardcores are going to be upset about this. You don't know what you're talking about. Whittaker's the GOAT, takedown defense, cardio, blah, 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 blah. But you watch this fight and you are going to be very surprised that the hype train is real and it is not derailed. Khamzat Chimaev will beat Robert Whittaker. Book it.